Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on with you? I'm back. I'm back. Senzo Meiwa case. Senzo Meiwa case. Okay, we are now in another stage where the state is introducing new witnesses, very comprehensive witnesses, and some of them expert witnesses that we had never had a chance, to listen to them before. And this is very, 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 very exciting and interesting because there are new revelations that are, being made in court. Importantly now, the state has brought in officers from NATIS. NATIS is the Department of Transport. NATIS is the Department of Transport. So what happened last week, Friday, in court, is that when the witness, the witness Montreux, the witness from NATIS, started making statements or explaining, over his affidavits that were presented in court. There were interesting things that came from the defense lawyers. They were trying to run away. They were trying to escape the presentation from NATIS. Right? This is very, very dangerous. Where we are going, these are very dangerous stages for the defense, because I think now for the defense, their ideas now, they have exhausted their ideas for defense, especially after after losing the trial within trial. They don't seem to have that same energy. I'll explain what is happening. So, when the officer from NATIS started explaining, then the defense lawyer, one of the defense lawyers tried to object, say that no, and the presentation was going beyond the case. He said that the presentation, the affidavit, was irrelevant to the case. So the state, through Mr. Baloy, said no, this is irrelevant. I have explained already, this is irrelevant to the case. Then the Judge Rata Muhatrin, said no, you see, the state has a duty to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. The state has a duty to present the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So you cannot stop this case, the state, from going no matter how wandering, wherever they can go, whatever they can do, within that period of the case. You cannot stop them, because they have a duty to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So, I remember the defense attorney said, maybe before presenting this, the state could have proposed that we should try to meet halfway, perhaps possibly to discuss or negotiate so that they can settle the case. Now this is the new thing that's coming up on the case. It's very, very interesting things that are happening now. So from my understanding, the 5 suspects, they are going to get very harsh punishment, very harsh sentence, because according to the law, if you don't admit or you refuse to admit to a case, and you waste the state resources in the trial, that is deliberate, So after the court case, they will punish you with with a long sentence. They will give you a long sentence. That's why the judge said on the case, the judge said that it was obvious. Okay, all these things were obvious. Even the state was aware that it was obvious. So they were supposed to admit to the case. The suspects were supposed to admit to the case, but they did not admit to the case. So they're wasting the state resources. They're wasting the resources of the state pursuing the case. So anywhere in the world, when suspects refuse to admit, okay, they are refusing to admit, they are wasting the state resources. In the end, they get very tough or they get hard punishments or they get hard sentences. Okay, so we heard the accused number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. We heard accused number 1 said the time that the Senzo Meiwa, soccer star Senzo Meiwa, was killed 2014. He was not staying in that town. He said he was staying at home in KwaZulu-Natal. So he said that he was no longer around that town. He was in KwaZulu-Natal. He was not staying in that town. Accused number 5 had said during the trial, he said last year that he had never been in that town, Vosorolas. He was working in Joburg and that he was staying there. He was not around that town. Accused number 2, he said that at the time of the crime, he was not working in the mine. He was not working in you see, all these were lies from criminals. Okay, these criminals were lying in the court. Now what has come out is that right now they have been bringing evidences from experts, and right now the evidence that's coming out is the evidence from Natis department. So Natis department registers cars, for example, vehicles of people possessions, and we should expect that even this case can go even to the court, to the banks. So there will be more witnesses, even the witnesses from the banks. So that's why the judge said that this is obvious. Okay, it was better to admit to the case, all right, way long time before, okay, than to try to lie to the court. So what the suspects, the mistakes that they are doing is that they are lying in the court. You cannot lie in the court. You must say the truth in the court. But they are lying, continuing to lie. So that guy said that he was staying in KwaZulu-Natal. He was not in Vosorolas at the time the crime was committed, which was a lie. Now Natis has come out. Okay, now the Natis official has made reports about that guy that at the time the crime was committed, around 2014, the guy applied for license. He went for examinations, driving lessons, examinations. He went for examination tests and mentioned the places. And you see those towns, they are close around the same place where that crime was committed. And it is within that same period, 2014, when the crime was committed. So you cannot run away from court. You cannot run away from police. You cannot run away from investigations. By the time the state made that case, they already had investigated everywhere and found the whole picture of those suspects, 5 of them, including those others that were used the state suspects. The most very interesting thing is that I think that police officer which they call Sifiso Zulu, okay, that one was a suspect as well. I think they made him a state witness. That's why he was able to come and present that witness. It's very interesting and very entertaining that maybe in my life I've never come up across a very entertaining case like this one of Senzo Suspects. It's very entertaining. In the end, it's becoming very clear now that these suspects were denying the charge, but they are guilty. And the way the state is doing actually is digging and exposing, the links, all the links that show these guys were the suspects that really committed that crime of killing that soccer star Senzo Suspects. It's very bad. It's very important, especially now that these killings. Okay, these people must know that if the state wants to dig them, it can find them. Anytime it can find them. So we're waiting tomorrow and tomorrow after tomorrow and every day to hear more things that will be coming out. But the judge said that was very important statement that came from the judge, who said it was better for the defense, to admit the case. So if these suspects admitted the case, there was going to be a shortcut whereby they could have curtailed the case and then ended it with sentences. Actually, it's by doing that they save the resources of the state. Okay, but continue to deny the case when the state is double sure that these are the people who committed that crime. They are wasting the resources of government, and the punishment is very, very hard. Punishment is very hard. I know that, for example, suspect number 3 may get life sentence because he's the one. Now it's proved beyond reasonable doubt. It's getting proved little by little. It's getting proved because each one of them has also many other cases. Like, for example, suspect number 1 was also found to be. That's why that Natis official said he was requested by government to write down, to bring out all the reports and recordings, the accounts of all the suspects, all of them. And he, one by one, explained. For example, he said suspect number 3, he registered his cars around 2015, and that was a minibus or taxi. And suspect number 5, he registered his cars and the address, residential address, Boxbeck, which is close to that place of Vosororas, not Joburg, what he was talking about. So, you see, the person lied that he was staying in Joburg, but he was not staying in Joburg, he was staying in Boxbeck, which was close to that scene of crime. And someone said, accused number 2 said he was not working at the mine at the time the crime took place. But then when they went to the mine, they found that time he was working there at the mine, and that day he was not available at the mine. He absconded from the mine and went somewhere. And the accused were saying that they had not freely confessed to the charges, yet they were able to mention each other correctly. So you see, all this case, what is coming up is something that is a big lesson to everybody, big lesson to the whole nation, like this nation, to say crime does not pay. Crime is dangerous. Crime is very dangerous.